It's day 93 of 66 and 26, and we're in an interesting section of 1 Samuel, chapters 14 to 18. We have a couple of familiar places in these chapters, like 1 Samuel 17, which tells the story of David and Goliath. But overall in these chapters, what I notice is that God sets up these characters in contrast. So you see a comparison, for instance, between King Saul and David. King Saul, we're told, is a full head taller than everyone else in Israel. He seems the obvious choice to be king. He's a warrior's warrior. He's strong, tall, and handsome. And so, of course, he would be king. And in contrast is David, whom God picks to be the next king when he rejects Saul. David, who would be overlooked, and in fact was overlooked by his own father to be a potential person to be king, because he's the youngest, the smallest, and he would not be the obvious choice to be king. And yet he is the one that God chooses, because God is always looking at the heart, not the outward appearance. Also, you get the contrast with Saul, who fails again and again to trust in the Lord. And then David, who is described as a man after God's own heart. And so we see this contrast between the character of Saul and David, between the physical appearance of Saul and David, and ultimately between their attitudes about kingship and about what the Lord is doing. David continually trusts in the Lord when he's serving as a shepherd, when he is on the field against Goliath. And we see that God is working through David, trying to work through Saul as well, but Saul becoming very jealous of the work that God is doing through David. So the crowds, when they come back from battle, they shout out, "Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands." And it raises the level of Saul's jealousy. And so this is the beginning of what we see as an animosity, a jealousy between Saul and David, although David will elevate King Saul as one worthy of praise and honor, saying, far be it from me to lay my hands on the Lord's anointed, understanding that Saul has been ordained to be king by God. But Saul does not return that kind of sentiment and works to actually kill David, which we'll see in the chapters ahead. Right now, in these chapters we're reading today, we're seeing the beginnings of that opposition, Saul against David. In all these chapters that we're reading today, I think that one particular lesson we should take out of this is that God works especially through those that we would never expect. God is working through David, the smallest and youngest in his family, so that he would be king. He is using this one that the soldier's armor doesn't even fit on because he's so small, and yet he is used to slay the giant Goliath. And God can use any one of us, the most unexpected person, if we don't feel that we're smart enough, strong enough, old enough, young enough, pretty enough, athletic enough, whatever it is enough. God is still able to use us because it really is in God's strength, not our own. This is how God works, isn't it? Through simple water for baptism, through simple bread and wine for communion. And God works through simple, ordinary elements, and God can work through simple, ordinary people just the same. That is the lesson for us today in 66 and 26.